So, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me just fix all this. So, I'm live both on YouTube and Facebook. Kind of just trying to figure this out. Hi, Erin. So, I suddenly have anxiety. Oh my gosh, past few days have just been ridiculously insane. It's a lot of stuff going on. How are you guys doing? I've just been like, don't revert, don't revert, don't go back to that version of you that that you worked so hard to kind of not stay at. And it's kind of this point on my journey where I'm recognizing every aspect of myself serves a purpose, and that I should actually stop telling myself to stop being who I am. Does that make sense, guys? Like, oh no. Telling yourself to stop this and stop that is telling yourself to stop being who you are. That you're not giving yourself the permission to be authentically you. And, you know, authentically me includes a lot of passion. You know what I'm saying. It includes a lot of passion if I see things that are not, that I find are somehow abusive or unfair, then I speak up because that's who I am. It's just who I am. I totally need to stop telling myself to stop being who I am, because who I am is a very fair, very loving person. You know, I love people. I love people. Whether you deserve my love or don't deserve my love, that whole concept is just utter bullshit, because love is not something that you have to earn. True omnilove just is. Trust, you have to earn. You have to be worthy of trust. You have to be worthy of other things, but love itself, in its purest forms, does not have to be earned. It just is. And if it has to be earned, then that's not love, that's something else. So like with respect, I give a certain level of respect to everybody, you know? It's just, I have this concept in my head that I abide by. I will always treat people with a certain level of respect, because guess what? I expect you to reciprocate that respect. Okay, I'm not going to be disrespectful and expect you to give me respect first so then I can go back to being respectful. No. And this is why I feel I have the right to not have to tolerate disrespect, because I don't come off disrespectfully from the start for no reason. So it's just all of these energies from the moon stuff and the planetary alignment, and it's just causing a lot of these really deeply rooted things that I thought I had already processed to rise back up. And the details of the circumstance is not really, it's not really important. It's the lesson, the core of the lesson. And the core of the lesson is change is inevitable, right? Sometimes the circumstance will change, but that doesn't necessarily equate that all the people involved in that circumstance has chosen to change. Because, and this might help you understand better what I'm saying, because change is inevitable. And then I'm saying sometimes people choose not to change. Well, because we have free will. And although your mind, your understanding, your consciousness is constantly changing, Your ability and desire to implement those changes is solely up to you. You have free will. You are free to implement those changes or shelve them. So despite situations changing, circumstance changing, years going by and you have changed, if it is the same lesson, if that person has shelved this lesson that involved you years ago, and you're back and you've changed and you're ready to get through that lesson and move forward, and that person isn't, then you've just been sucked into that repetitive cycle. It's another cycle repeating, and it's okay for you to say, it's okay. You are who you are. I'm not participating in this. I'm moving forward. You don't have the authority to force upon me a cycle that only you want to perpetuate. And that's okay. That's okay. I don't need you to agree. I don't need you to give me permission to keep walking. I, as a sovereign soul, have the sole authority to decide where my life takes me. And if your fear of the unknown causes you to become aggressive with me, to show physical aggression towards me, then that will be dealt with in an appropriate way. It will not be mirrored. That's the beautiful thing about sovereignty. You can choose, you have the authority to choose whether you are going to mirror the very behaviors that are trying to entrap you in this perpetual cycle of suffering, division, hate, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to allow my sovereignty to be subjugated by your fears. Your fear of the unknown, your fear of growth, your fear of change, that has nothing to do with me. And maybe my return is causing the triggering of this lesson to come to the forefront again. Maybe it's just my presence that's causing your conscious mind to fracture enough to let that lesson come forward again. And again, that has nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with your lack of willingness to listen to the needs of soul, to submit yourself, full submission to the will of your soul, not my soul, not anyone else's soul, simply your soul. And no one gets a say in that. No one gets a say in that. Except you. You're the only one that gets a say in that, and that's how it should be. Now, people can come to you and share with you their thoughts and whatever they're observing, but they don't get to tell you that you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. By laws of sovereignty, whatever you decide is what's most appropriate for you in that time. Because as the sovereign of your kingdom, meaning the utmost authority of your auric kingdom, you are the expert. There is none above you. You are the last, ultimate, highest, most authority. You are the God of your land. And if you're going to allow an interloper to enter your space and begin to dictate how it is these lessons will be learned, what lessons are needing to be learned, I mean, these are not even your lessons. Well, they are if you're going to participate. And mirroring that behavior is participation in it. Right. I'm going to butcher your name. Agate Renate Lyris says, I wish I could understand my family doing that to me. Well, here's the thing. This is what I learned for myself personally. The label of family does not entitle the individual that is external from me to begin exercising control over me as though they were the king of my field, my auric field. That's not how it works. The label family is nothing more than an identifier. It identifies your relation to me, the positioning of your field in relation to the positioning of my field. We are family. We have a connection. And a connection can be a bridge or it can be shackles. A slave is connected to their master, to the one who imprisoned them through his shackles and chains. And I'm sorry, but I refuse to be enslaved. That violates my sovereignty. And whether it's just societal, emotional, mental, it's still a violation of my sovereignty, and I will not yield. I will not understand, meaning stand under your dominion and rule. I do not exist within maritime law. I am a sovereign. When someone says, do you understand? No, I do not understand. I do not stand under your thumb. Do you understand? Semantics, nothing but semantics. So it's the same cycle. Like, I feel my PTSD triggered, and it's like this whole week has just been insane. And at some point during this week, I had a moment with myself, and I was like, we're not repeating this. This doesn't repeat. No. We return to a circumstance knowing the potentiality of this specific potentiality being the potentiality. And we came armed with the ability to extract ourselves. And that is what's different this time. This time, in no way, shape, or form have I blocked myself from the ability to extract myself with grace, with dignity, power. I will not shrink. I will not hide. I will walk forward like a goddess in her prime. And I will not reflect the ugly that you try and project upon me. For your issues are not mine, they're yours. And I stand rooted, centered in my truth, knowing who I am, unwavering. I know who I am. I know what I do. I know what I don't do. An unwavering, unmutable truth just emanating from me with a silence so deafening that even not uttering a single word, those who attempt to oppose me quake with fear. And I don't say this as like, yeah, I'm above you. Yeah, I'm dominating you. I say this as I recognize that you recognize you will not control me. You will not dominate me. You will not subject me to what you thought you could. Maybe at some point in my life, that worked. Back when I refused to allow myself to receive the abundance that's rightfully mine. Abundance in all its forms. And now I've healed myself as a woman. I have healed enough to allow myself to receive as much as I give. And I stand rooted in that truth, that I am centered in a cycle of giving and receiving. And you will not take from me that which I'm not willing to give. You cannot coerce me into perpetuating this cycle. By the laws of sovereignty, I have the final say in my response. That's just that. You're not going to knock me from center at all. Now, I will need some time to process. I will allow myself to have enough compassion for myself to feel angry, to be livid, to feel stressed out, to lose my appetite, to feel whatever the fuck I need to feel. because I have every right to feel what I feel when wrong is done to me. And that's okay. Avoidance was never the answer, anyways. Because there's a very real fact that we came into this life to feel the motion and emotion, full range of motion and emotion. And that's what we call life. That's what we call living. That is what truly living is. Allowing yourself to feel with no guilt or shaming yourself. Like, I shouldn't feel this way. Well, why the fuck should you not feel that way? You fucking just shit on you. Why shouldn't you be mad? Saying all kind of crazy shit at you, screaming in your face. Why shouldn't you raise your voice too? And if it's a tactic of, physical intimidation in your face, physically trying to intimidate. Well, for me personally, I'd look you straight in the eyes and I will remind you very calmly, you lay one hand on me, I will press charges. I will not hesitate to press charges. Whether it be assault, whether it be battery, I will not hesitate to press charges to the fullest extent of the law. I will not back away. I will look you straight in your eyes with no fear. If you decide to strike me, there will be legal ramifications. And that's when the cycle ends. That's when the cycle ends. That's when that fear dominant cycle ends. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. The goddess's power is in her softness. How do you fight that which is soft? You ever try and fight water? Fluid grace of a goddess. I might not be able to fight you. I might not have the brute strength physically to fight you. But you're wrong, and there will be ramifications. You lay one hand on me, you show me any more physical acts of aggression, there will be ramifications. And so then what happens? What happens? Is that just a bluff, or is that a truth? Is it a truth that despite me not wanting to participate in a system, a very defunct system, I am a part of this system, and I will utilize this system to protect me and my space? Because I mean, let's like get real here. Let's get real here. We have to exist in the system until it's dismantled. So regardless of whatever my beliefs are regarding this paradigm we exist within, if you're going to get in my face and threaten to physically harm me, I will very quietly and strongly remind you, I will press charges. You should consider how much you'll lose in the event that I do. Because before, there was this part of me that is like, we can get crazy up in here. We'll get physical. We'll get crazy up in here, and we can do this. But then in that moment, and it's like such an intensely empowering moment where I felt myself get quiet and be like, no, we're not doing this. And if you attempt me to force me into doing this, there will be ramifications. And I'll look you in the eyes as I tell you this, without blinking. that if you can't calm yourself down, if you can't remove yourself from this dwelling because your behavior is out of hand, then I'll have you removed. And the beautiful thing about knowing what your rights are within this paradigm, within this system, the beautiful thing about that is no one can really fuck with you. No one can. This whole, I'm in this industry and I know this industry and, you're going to lose this. And I'm like, no. I'm well aware of California law. I'm well aware of it. I'm well aware of where my rights end and yours begins. You have no power here. You don't intimidate me. You have no power here. This is being documented and will be used against you. So I would highly recommend you get back in control of your faculties. Stop letting demons use your mind as a playground. Because that's my truth. My truth is I'm so centered in my heart space that oftentimes, and when I say oftentimes, it's almost all the time, demonic activity can't reach me, so it goes for someone else in an attempt to shake me from center. Well, the beautiful thing about the way I grew up was it was a war zone. So when you put me back in that war zone, everything shuts off. The fear, everything, it shuts off. I'm in my element. I know what to do. I know which moves to make. I know what to do. And before, I used to use that knowledge to physically engage. And after you reach a certain level of growth, you begin to understand the strength isn't in the fists. The strength is in here, and your ability to choose to remain centered in here. Because the moment you leave the center of your heart space, you are then once again fair game for demonic influence. And we're not going to play semantics today. We're not going to call it parasitic. It's demonic. It's demonic. Okay? We're just going to go straight to there. It's demonic behavior. And I think it's time that I acknowledge one of the most beautiful things about me is the fact that when I see wrong being done to someone else, that raw courage and strength just comes straight to the surface. And it's like, no, we're not having this. You're not getting your way. And you're not doing anything to me either. The abuse stops, whether by your choice as a sovereign or by me forcing you. But the abuse stops. And so now I'm just like, say whatever you want. I have no response. I'm doing whatever it is I need to do. My end, everything is going to continue. My life is going to continue. My desire to take care and love and, all of that good stuff that I love about myself, it's going to continue. All you did was confirm that I need to continue loving you from afar. That you shouldn't have access to me because you are not ready to address the lessons you've shelved. And I am not willing to go there with you again. This is not a running away thing. This is not an avoidance thing. This is a recognition that I don't have to show up to every single war that I'm invited to. And man, it's like, I don't know, am I like the benchmark for testing out your war skills? Is that what it is? Like, no, no. That doesn't honor the lives that I lived in feudal Japan. There's nothing Bushido about that. That just because you can war means you will. I live my life marinated in the code of Bushido. If I know that I can beat you, you are not a worthy adversary. And by virtue of that, no reaction, no response. Go do whatever you need to go do. I'm going to respond whatever is appropriate. And we're going to keep walking. We're going to keep going. Yep. Caprina says sometimes silence is the best response. Silence is a perfect response when a fool is attempting to argue with you. Because when you argue with a fool, foolish logic, you then have two fools. A fool is not interested in hearing. He's not interested in whatever you have to contribute to the conversation. They're only interested in proving they are right. And so everything you say is wasted on closed ears. So maybe what you need to say is something not said, because the language of the heart is felt, not heard. And sometimes one of the most powerful things you can do is stand there with your heart exposed, letting them know, I'm not afraid. I survive everything in my life. And I go beyond surviving and I enter that stage of thriving. And you're not going to turn me into merely a survivor. You don't have that kind of power. You do not have that level of authority over me and my life. And that's a truth. For me, that's a truth that I absolutely embrace. You don't have that kind of power. I don't give you that kind of authority. I'm not just a survivor. I am a thriver. And I will continue to thrive in whatever circumstance I'm in. But just to be clear, excuse me, you do not have my permission to have that type of authority over me. Gerard says, this is why I interact as little as possible with the 98% monkey with the monkey humans. Hi, Carmela. So it's just a matter of really figuring out who you are. Who are you? At the end of the day, when you lay naked in your truth, stripped all of those perceptions that other people think you should be, the person you are to other people, whether that be good or bad is irrelevant, but the person that you are for other people, when you strip that away, what's left? Who are you? Do you recognize who you are? I very frequently ask my husband, am I the same in person as I am on live streams? And he's like, you only have one face. And I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, no, you only have one face. He's like, I don't know why you keep telling people you're so different in person, that you're quiet and blah, 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 blah. You only have one face. Well, thank you. So I know who I am. I know who I am. I know for everything in my life, every single characteristic of mine, I have an extreme light and extreme dark, and I'm centered in that two polar extremes. I'm centered in it. I can go very, very dark. I can get very, very light. But for the most part, I'm centered in it, existing in the grays, the spaces between the all and the nothing. And that's where God is. God is the all and the nothing and the spaces in between. So maybe if we begin recognizing that, maybe we are shards of this God consciousness, experiencing things in this life separately yet together. from different vantage points, different calibrated perceptions, that maybe there isn't a right or a wrong and there just is. And maybe if we don't understand the is of someone else, we should ask questions. And I don't know why people are so afraid to ask questions. You know, ask questions, because I'm not afraid to answer. Especially if you're dealing with me, ask questions. Hey, Emmy, are you talking shit about me? Well, it depends. What did someone tell you? Emmy, they said that you said I was a bitch. Well, yeah, you're acting like a bitch. If you don't want me to think you're a bitch, you shouldn't act like a fucking bitch. And I have no problem saying that to your face. We could video chat that. I will tell you, I think you're an amazing person, but you got some bitchness in you. And fuck, it makes you real ugly. And I'd wish you'd recognize you don't got to copy other people and get bitchy with other people just because you have some shit going on inside. Like, fucking let that shit out so that people can see the true you, which I see. And that's what frustrates me about you acting like a fucking bitch, because I see what the beauty of your heart. Just fucking be you. Stop trying to impress. Stop trying to be someone else. Stop trying to keep up with something you're not. Because I can never be you. You can never be me. So stop trying to keep up. Just be who you are. And it's fucking beautiful what you are. You will never be me. Just like I will never be you. And I think it's a fucking bitch ass move that you keep trying to be me and talk shit about me. So yes, I think you're a bitch. Does that mean you're a bad person? No, that's just my perception of your behavior. Because I still see down through to the core of you, which I love your beautiful heart. Where you're not so insecure and jealous and trying to prove you're so much more than everyone else, just existing in your lane. Fuck, you're an amazing driver with a badass car. But you keep swerving into my fucking lane. Stay in your lane and we can drive together. But have people ask questions instead of just, oh, I never deny the shit that I say. I don't deny. If I said it behind your back, it's because I didn't want to be rude and say it to your face. But if you come to me and ask me, I will say it to your face. That's not shit talking. That's sharing opinion. Like, I think she's a bitch. So what does my opinion have anything to do with anything about you? It's my opinion. Just like assholes, we all have one. So I hear opinions are just like assholes, we all have one. I'm just saying, like, exist centered in your truth. Know who you truly are. And whatever people are saying about you, who gives a shit? Stop keeping tabs on what people are saying or not saying about you. And then you got to respond with like, oh, Emmy went live, so I gotta make a post. Notice how my lives are about me, my journey. Your posts are about me and my journey. You don't recognize that says some shit about you, that you're keeping such close tabs on me on my path. I don't know anything that you're doing, nor do I care to know. You don't resonate with me. I don't need to destroy you. You don't resonate with me. And so I send you away in love. Find the people who resonate with you and be happy with them. Build your business. Earn your living wage. And it's really, really sad that instead of growing yourselves, you waste time on me, who has nothing to do with your journey. And it's not sad for me because I'm not wasting my time on you. I'm still doing good. I'm still learning and growing within my lane. And that's okay with me too. So sit in your truth. Allow yourself to really, really, really soak in the truth of who you are. I know who I am. Some people have a perception of me of being this sweet badass. I know I can be a bitch. Trigger me just right. If you really, really force me, if you have some elevated skill of like just rubbing the raw pieces and then adding salt to those wounds, I mean, I don't know, you might get lucky. You might. It's pretty difficult to get me to tap into that part of myself. But sometimes you need to, and that's okay. And if you understand that it takes a lot for you to tap into that aspect of yourself, that bitch, which, you know, bitch is really assertiveness. Understanding that you are a goddess in the flesh and you deserve respect. And by God damn it, you will demand it. These fucking peasants don't understand I'm a goddess. I'm being sarcastic. These fucking peasants don't understand that I'm a goddess. God damn it, I'll just demand it. You know that we're all gods and goddesses, right? That's why we all got a crown chakra. We all have crown chakras, guys. You can choose to either rise up and wear your crown with a dignity and grace that a royal has, or you could fucking confine yourself to the peanut gallery where the peasants are. I don't know. This shit's hilarious to me. I don't think anyone's a peasant. I'm just using analogies. My son is an Aquarius, and I think someone was trying to argue with him on some post, and he was just like, "You filthy peasant. No one gave you permission to speak to me." I was like, you can't be saying that to people. You can't be destroying people like that, make them feel like peasants. But that was funny as hell. It's just like, right, Kaprina? She says, freaking Pinay attitude. Yeah, no, I'm Pinay. We the Latinas of the Asian world. We the tropical Latinas. But yeah, no, you know, hey, I'm gonna be who I am. You're gonna be who you are. That's perfectly okay. But you're not gonna come into my space and try and dominate me, try and threaten me, try and suck me into your cycles that you're refusing to work through. I worked through that already. I have other cycles that I need to work through. I'm going to utilize this entire life of mine to work on the very things I came into this life to work on. This entire life of mine, I am dedicating it to working on the very cycles that I haven't yet figured out. I don't need to keep continuing with the fucking cycles that I already figured out. You're drama. You're addicted to drama. Do that shit on your own. If you don't want to stop that drama, that's fine with me. But do that shit on your own. And if you want to continue talking shit about me to other people, thank you for the advertising. Free advertising. Because what happens is they get curious. Who is this evil, wicked bitch? Let's look up Emmy evolving. Let's Google that shit. Okay, let's watch this fucking Asian bitch. Oh, she's kind of funny. Oh my gosh, she's kind of right. There's nothing wrong with this girl, so keep sending them to me. Keep sending them to me, and I'll keep shining my light so that they can understand. You found me for a reason. And that person, regardless of their intent, sending you to me, your soul needed to find me because I am reflecting the very things within you that you're needing to recognize at this time. You're needing to recognize the beauty of your truth, the beauty of who you are, the power in your softness, flowing in your grace, rising up back to your greatness. In whatever way it is that you found me, I still see the divinity within you and I honor it. So, you guys, really though, who gives a shit what anyone else is doing? I know I don't. I just can't be bothered with the trivial stuff. I have so many lessons. The more I rise in my dimensional level of understanding, the more I recognize exactly how many lessons I did not realize I had planned for myself in this life. And once you recognize that, the more you know, the more you'll realize how very little you know, you'll be too busy working on yourself to participate in other external bullshit. Whether it be online, whether it be in real life, I love you, but I don't love you more than I love myself. At this point, it has taken damn near 40 years for me to get to this point where I can say without any malice, hatred, backhanded bullshit in my heart, as much as I love you, I cannot allow myself to love you more than I love myself. And some days it has to be saying that along with a reminder to myself, there are far too many people watching. And if I revert back into that, I love myself less than what I love other people, that is what I'm helping you guys to remember, to participate and perpetuate that same cycle of suffering, self-sabotage. And I came here to do more than that. I didn't come here to participate in the very thing I came here to dismantle. And so sometimes when it's so difficult for me to stand true to that, knowing that I need to love myself more than I love other people, that's when you guys come into play. That's when there is that equal exchange, how much I give to you without you guys even realizing, just by your existence and being a part of my journey, you are giving back to me the courage and the strength to continue to stand and rise in my truth with no apologies, for finally understanding I need to love myself more than I love other people. And as an empath, that is so difficult for us to get, to understand, much less accept and implement into our lives. That is so difficult. And with this lunar eclipse happening just in a few days, it's like this week, this week was designed specifically to body slam me back into cycles that just aren't worthy of me. Those cycles are not worthy of me. I've retrieved enough of my greatness that I no longer can confine myself to that limited way of being. Not the individuals. Those cycles, you're not worthy of me. Too much of my greatness has returned. I don't want to shrink myself down. You're just not worthy of me. And maybe if we begin recognizing that putting something on one person, like, someone tried to do wrong to me, I'm blaming that person. I'm focusing on that person who tried to do wrong to me. And it's like, no, there's an energy behind that. Look beyond the obvious. Look behind the individual that is being utilized to deliver this very same energy, this frequency signature that was calibrated to teach you that particular lesson. So I've long since gotten to a point where it's like, no, so-and-so is not talking shit about me. That energy is talking shit about me. Because you know what? That energy is trying to force me upon myself. My higher self is trying to force upon me to finally accept that I need to stop talking shit to myself. 40 years, you've never harmed anyone. The only times you've been in fistfights is when someone else is trying to beat your ass. And just because your aggression far outdid theirs, something they started, does not make you evil. Doesn't make you evil. Hate to break it to you, you're just not evil. People do you wrong left and right, and you look for excuses as to why they're hurting and causing this hurt to spill over and affect you, and you don't even blame them for that hurt. How can you be evil, Em? And because you hold this belief within you so quietly, it doesn't matter how quiet it is, because the language of the heart is felt, not heard. These people are then, oh, she's evil. No, I'm sorry, that was a lie. Apparently, I'm capable of lying. Apparently, I'm not evil. And I lied to myself about being possibly evil as another way to derail my trip back home to myself, back home to my greatness. And that is no one else's problem but mine. No one else's. I did that. You are nothing more than an external projection of an internal self-hatred that I am now attempting to heal. And I must say, I think I'm getting pretty far with this. I think I'm getting pretty far, because with the circumstance that happened recently, I don't feel victimized in any way. Not at all. I don't feel victimized. I feel empowered. I feel as though I spoke my truth. I stood my ground. I didn't make threats. I stood my ground. I stated facts. And they were left grasping it like, what else can I say? What else can I do? Call whoever you need to call. Bring in as many people as you need to bring in to like gang up on me. I'm standing in my truth. I'm not backing down. And I don't need to hear other people telling me how I'm wrong, because I know I'm not wrong. Because I finally understand. I don't speak on things I don't know about. I don't involve myself in things that I'm just doing it for the drama factor. And always, if I get involved, it's because the atrocities being committed are far too much for my heart to continue witnessing without saying or doing something to stop the abuse. And if you can say those types of things about yourself, about your behavior, your decision to participate in things and speak up, then you know who you are. And don't back down. And that's a beautiful gift that circumstance and that individual is gifting you. And if you recognize that, you won't feel victimized. You will understand the gravity of your growth. You will finally be able to acknowledge these new depths that you are dipping down into. You are very quickly approaching the core of who you are. If you can ask yourself those kind of questions and know the answers without hesitation, just know them, not say these things about yourself because it sounds good. And that's a show, okay? That's a show. You don't have to put on a show. Your life is already a show. You don't have to put on an extra show layered on top of the show, because that's just confusion. Have you ever seen two images overlaid on top of each other, superimposed? Does that give you clarity? Is your vision crisp? And then you have two audios that you're listening to. Well, good luck with that. And you're wondering why you're so confused as to who you are? I'm not wondering. I know exactly why you're confused. Jennifer says, why do humans like drama? Drama is perpetuated. It's a program. It's a draconian program rooted in the false king of tyranny system, the FKOT. That system is a draconian slash negative archon paradigm. And they perpetuate that paradigm so as to give the illusion of freedom to the slaves, mental, spiritual, energetic slaves. They give you just enough illusion of freedom. So that way you think you're in control and you won't question those who are actually puppeting you. And humans act that way because at this point in our evolution, we don't know any better. So then people like me come along and are made as an example. And I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. This is what I volunteered for. Am I okay with people being mean to me? No, but I understand that that's part of being an example. To be able to show others that even if you burn up in a blazing hot mess, you can still rise from the ashes. And nothing gets attention more than a phoenix on the rise. Nothing. Nothing. So if they're paying attention, that means they're noticing your rise. And there's been said to have been an experiment done on monkeys. They were kept in an enclosure with, I think it was a ladder or a tree that would give them the opportunity to climb up where there was an opening. And if they climbed up, then they're free. But every time a monkey tried to climb up, they were hosed. Not just the monkey climbing up, but the entire population. And after a time, it was observed that the monkeys who weren't climbing up would attack the monkey who was rising because they were conditioned to drag them back down. And that's why humanity suffers the way it does. Cognitive dissonance is one hell of a drug. And then you have these other factors at play where, half-truths are released, and that's so dangerous because there's enough truthful component within that half-truth that you then become divided. Because there's a select few who recognize that's not the fucking truth. It sounds good, but that's not the truth. And then there's the ones who are like, but it is the truth. See, this is what they said, failing to acknowledge the fact that it was followed by an untruth. And so now you have division. Everything that seeks to divide is part of the draconian paradigm. It's part of the false king of tyranny mindset. It's a patriarchal Melchizedek system. And when I say patriarchal Melchizedek, I'm talking about the fallen angelic lineages. I believe only 3 of Michael's branches from his family tree survived that fall. Only 3, with 80% of their coding intact. Gerard says, sneak out when they have bananas. That's so potent of a truth. That is so potent of a truth from my personal circumstance. You have no idea. Sneak out when they have bananas. Their bellies are full and they're distracted with the spoils of their war. Slide right out, unnoticed, unharmed. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's a message from soul. That is a message from soul. Very, very powerful one at that. Sneak out when they have bananas. Bananas are high in potassium. Potassium is a very necessary component for a healthy vascular system. I'm about to go deep down into a rabbit hole, so let me just stop it right there. So guys, I'm going to go ahead. Thank you for letting me just get these thoughts out. Soul journeys can mirror each other. And sometimes you feel so alone in your circumstance and you feel somehow defeated, thinking that no one else goes through these things that you're going through. And unfortunately, it helps to know that there's others out there with the same exact struggles, same exact pain. And it's not comforting to know others are in pain. It's comforting to know that together we will still rise. That those who are experiencing this very same circumstance as you, slightly different details of their circumstance, but it's still the same circumstance, same lessons. You are the front runners, the trailblazers. You're lighting the way for others to follow behind. That doesn't make you superior. It makes you more obligated to be responsible with the voice that you're given, the platform that you have, your effect on other people. So if all you're sharing is negativity, trying to tear someone else down, I ask you to remember your divinity, not to stop talking shit about me. I ask you to remember your divinity and what you came here to do. And I'd like to think your needs are actually a priority over your desire to tear me down, because you're not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to be successful. I'm too stubborn. And I have too much soul alignment to be stopped at this point. I'm no longer afraid to speak my truth. I'm no longer afraid to allow my abundance in all its forms. You're not going to stop me. But it's my hope that you get bored enough and refocus yourself back on you. Because despite the ugliness that you have been putting on showcase, I still firmly believe you have one of the most beautiful hearts I've seen. And if you focus on that and bring that back out, I still believe you have quite a bit to offer humanity. But it's not my place to correct your choices. It's my place to observe and decide for myself what I would and wouldn't participate in. And at that, I am now choosing to go check on my mama. Go figure out what else I have to get done today, and just enjoy the totality of this experience. You know, there's no totality if it's all rainbows and sunshines. There is no totality if all you think is appropriate is light and love. Because even for light and love, there is fake love and false light. Artificial light is false light. And if you can't allow yourself to even begin to explore who you are in the depths of your darkness, then at the very least, question if you're in the truth of your light, in the light of your truth, or if you're in artificial light. Choosing to not acknowledge the things going on in life, choosing to not acknowledge that internal suffering, you know, putting on that show, it doesn't do anything to me. All it does is hurt you. And one of the reasons I choose not to participate is because I love you enough to not interfere with your process of growing, with your ripening. And whether you love me or hate me or whatever it is you feel towards me, you don't have to earn my love. My love just is. I just love people. And sometimes it's quietly from afar. Sometimes it's in real life. Sometimes it's just through live streams, but I just love. It's just what the fuck I do. So guys, I gotta go. I gotta go. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me. I might go live, I think tomorrow. I don't know what date. Today's Friday. Tomorrow I am going to be going live. I'm going to have a special guest with me. If you're into astrology, tune in. If you haven't already liked my page or my channel, for those of you on YouTube, please subscribe. Tap the ass of the notification button. Facebook folks, click like, click follow, click see this post first. Because, you know, make me feel special. See my stuff first. I'm joking. But really, follow my page. I don't have a set schedule. I go live whenever. So turn on the notification stuff. Love you guys. Bye.